Hi there, everybody. Hey, I just wanted to congratulate everyone in the United States. Congratulations. It's April the 2nd, 2010. You made it. And statistically speaking, if you have a job, you go to work and work your 40 every week, hopefully get some overtime so you can get a six-pack on the weekend. Or if you own a small business, statistically speaking, you work from January the 1st up until about April the 1st or April the 15th, interestingly enough. And all of that money that you work for pays your federal income tax. So from now on, from today forward, roughly the next 2 weeks forward, now you can go to work for the state that you live in. And that, roughly, statistically speaking, is going to take you about another month to get them paid off. And then that's 5 months. And then the next month, you're going to go to work for your all your insurance, your car payments, the things you buy, your sales tax, the tax that you pay on the gasoline that you buy, your property taxes, your registrations, your fees and fines. You've got any tickets, anything. So that's about another month. And then, hopefully then you'll be able to, make your house payment, pay your rent, pay your property taxes, all that good stuff. So I just want to congratulate you. Congratulations. You made it this far. And now the next month, now you're working for the state that you live in. So just keep working hard and struggling. And hopefully, now the bankers are doing very well, and they appreciate what you've done for them. But you know what's interesting? Back when there was like actual slavery in this country or in the world, they figured that the slave masters or the slave owners would only really net only about 10% profit off of their slaves, because they had to feed the slaves, they had to house the slaves, they had to guard the slaves, they had to take care of their health. And the slaves got sick, and there was downtime and growing the crops and picking the crops. There was really they only netted about 10% interest or 10% profit. So that what they did is they figured a much better way to do that. Now, in other videos, I've gone back and I've talked to you about how the United States of America got started. Of course, we were in the war with Great Britain, or the British, fighting for our freedom, our liberty, and apparently we won. But the troops really didn't even leave until like 18-something. So, who knows what a bunch of crock of shit that is. But the funny thing is that we owed all these debts for all the money we borrowed to win this war, and to like the French or somebody, or the Rothschilds, I don't know. And so they went to the King of England, or they went to the States, and they said, will you help us pay this debt? And I guess they said no. So that wasn't going to work, so we had to pay these debts to be a good country. So they went back to the King of England and said, hey, will you help us pay these people off? And the king said, yeah, what do you have as collateral? And they said, well, we'll put up our federal government, the sovereignty of the federal government. He said, fantastic. So they just sold the whole fucking thing they just fought for back to the king so they could pay the debts. And then they set up, and I'm being very vague about this, but I'm going to give you the gist of it. They set up what's called, the king goes, well, I want an interest in everything there. So what I'm going to do, we're going to set up we're going to charter a bank. It's going to be called the Bank of the United States. And look at the Bank of the United States, because it was a privately owned corporation, where only 25%, I think, of the corporation was actually sold to Americans, and the rest was all offshore. And so the charter for that bank was for 20 years. After the 20 years was up, Congress didn't reenact it. So then you have what's called the War of 1812, when the British troops came in from Canada, came down, and they burned the White House. Why did they do that? Because the White House held all the titles to the government, to the land, or whatever they put up as collateral. So they came down, they burnt the White House, and they took control. They got the titles, and they took control of the federal courts. So now we have what's called the Bar Association running all of our federal courts and even our state courts. And the Bar Association is an acronym for the British Accredited Registry. This is a society of the English Crown, and their main job is to basically be the overseers of the bankruptcies and to get as much money out of you and me, the sheep or the cattle, as possible. So no matter how hard you try and you want to go in, they're foreclosing on your house or whatever. See, the British Accredited Registry, the Bar Association, lawyers or esquires, they work for the bankers. That's their job. They're not here for you and me. Believe it or not, they really aren't. And all of the police and the FBI and all these other sub corporations, all the money trickles through the court system back over to the bankers. And every year we were a republic for about 7 years, and then after the international bankruptcy cycles last for 70 years. So when the first bankruptcy was over, the 70-year cycle was 1865, and then we had the Civil War because the federal government went to the southern states and said, hey, we owe this money, are you guys going to pay up? And they said, no, we're not going to pay up. So we went to war with them. And after that war was over, they never came back to the Congress. And we went into what's called emergency war powers. And they started a company called the United States Corporation. We're not even under a republic anymore. It's a corporation. And it's a military, like, dictatorship, democracy. Everything they taught us in school is bullshit. It's a military democracy. That's why the president is the commander-in-chief of the army. And we're under emergency war powers. We're all under an emergency war thing right now. And another 70-year bankruptcy cycle goes by, and they owe more money to these international bankers. So what they do is they put the states up as collateral, and after that they put you up as collateral. In 1933, 29, you had the stock market crash. They put you as collateral. All the labor that you work for throughout your whole life is pledged to them. That's why they give you a Federal Reserve note. It's not worth anything. House Joint Resolution 192. They took all the gold and currency out of the system, and when you go sign your paycheck, they're loaning you some money. Here, you can borrow it. That's all they're doing. You got to pay it back. It's their fucking money. That's why their gang symbol with the pyramid is on the back of it. Everything is borrowed. They own everything, and they own you, what you think is you. So just know this, man. When you file in your income tax, all that shit is you're just paying tribute to the frickin' Queen of England and these international bankers, the Rothschilds. Who knows who they are? The black nobility. They're faceless. I want to see their faces. I want to know who I'm working for. That would be nice, wouldn't it? You think you're living in a free country? They own you. And now when the 1999, that 70-year bankruptcy cycle was over, 2 years later, what'd they do? They parked a couple planes in those buildings. Knock, knock. Bill collector shows up. Hello? You owe us. Where's the money? And now you have this healthcare thing. And guess what? You know who's collecting money for the healthcare? It's a tax. The IRS is collecting for it. That's what it is. Now you're going to work an extra 2 months or whatever just to pay your healthcare tax. They're coming for it all. They own it all. And the only thing we can do is I'm not a tax denier or a tax objector or whatever. I just don't pay it. You know, say what you want. I haven't paid it in 20 years. I don't care. I'm not going to be a part of it. But I don't have to either because there's no law that says I do. There is no law, people. But you just go along to get along. The only thing you can do is just stop paying them. That's all you can do. That's all any of us can do. Just stop paying them. Instead, go to stopthepirates.blogspot.com. That's my blog. I have some really good information I'll shoot over to you. Stopthepirates.blogspot.com. You need to get this information and share it with everyone you know. Really. This country has been hijacked by criminal offshore bankers. Period. Period. Go to www.stopthepirates.blogspot.com. And congratulations on making it to April to pay the bankers. They appreciate it.